Welcome to a bug and numbers overview on Hachiman. It's mostly for bug report. There's some interesting things I've found out, and it mostly all are made on jungle practice so far, but numbers bugs are usually always into the game then, and even usually make it through PTS, don't get fixed. We're coming to the passive first. It's just 2 MP5 per rank, per level and per stack, so maxing out at 10 MP5 at all levels, which is much worse than actually the 8 MP5 supposed to happen on level 20. So we're getting a lot less value out of that passive. First ability, Eagle Eye. That ability is supposed to scale from 10, 15, 20, 20 and 25. Within 55 range and deals 10 less damage on maximum range. That does not work for rank 1 to 4. On rank 1 to 4, this ability deals equal damage for both for maximum range and for lower range. That does change at rank and then at rank 5. So it's on rank 4 it's still 20 damage on both sides above. Getting at rank 4, at rank 5 you're getting then the damage difference. At the current state, then you actually be better off to just rank it to rank 4. You deal slightly, or you deal the same amount of average damage, but you actually get 10 mana saved. So, can be something for both directions. Second ability, we're talking about Heavenly Banner. Numbers were fine on the first look on PTS, but this ability has a problem with being placed in walls. It's placeable in walls, and if you place it into a wall, then it won't do any damage to any source, but still provides both buffs. So either it shouldn't be able to be placed in walls, or it should deal damage if it placed into like other mage abilities, for example, that have AoEs, or a lot of AoE abilities that can be placed into walls, can also deal damage if they are just an AoE who is ditching out. But this time here it does not work. Third ability, I didn't really saw a problem with that yet, except for a few hitbox problems could happen, but something more for in-game stuff to test out. The ultimate has a lot of different problems. I basically just show them off. With starting, if you let out the ultimate run out without anything in targeter, or cancel it out with right click, you shoot a single projectile in a straight line that does not deal any damage, but it's still there. It's hopefully just a visual glitch. We can see no damage dealt, even though it's a projectile shot. And then we come to the second part. On rank 2, this ability deals 5 damage less, base damage less than it's supposed to be. Here it should deal 380 damage with 95% scaling, and with the 285 base damage, we see that it will deal less damage. I'm still on true damage, so that is a normal shot. 5 damage less than it should be. But more importantly, and that's something I find rather odd because it's something completely different to a normal like PTS bug, is that the Hachiman ultimate can be cancelled into a secondary hit. That is not a full damage hit, but it's actually an ability that deals 65 to 145 damage, plus 20% physical power scaling, on all ranks of this ability. It's easy to reproduce. What you have to do is to go close to an opponent, then fire the shot with the left mouse button, and then instantly cancel out the ability with right mouse button. Just works in that configuration, and you have to be around melee range and maybe 15 feet range maximum, and it will trigger a secondary hit. To prove that's not on basic attack, here's my basic attack damage. It's in this case it's 140. In this case it's 105 damage plus 20% scaling on rank 3. It scales up to all the way to rank 5. Will deal now 165 damage. And it's always reproducible. I didn't have any problem after I found out how it works. It can be done when you turn around. It still always works. It kind of makes sense that this move exists. Maybe it was tested within the time of the God design. He's an in-your-face hunter who wants to go onto an enemy in close range combat, so rewarding a player for a secondary hit is an interesting concept. But I assume it's still a bug, cause the way it only can be applied if you do it in melee range and you have to cancel it out with right click. If you don't do that, what's even more interesting to make just the combo up to get some of the PTS players on. While demounting on the horse, you can still fire 1 to 2 basic attacks out of the horseback. So you even can maximize your damage with that way, if we're doing it like this. As we're getting additional basic attack online while we're still in the falling animation. It maybe just be a feature of jungle practice, but allows you to do quite a lot of additional damage. And that should be it. That's what I saw about him, about Hachiman during the PTS on my more or less first bug look over at him. I saw on stream already that there's a bug when you interrupt the casting of the ultimate, then you may get stuck with the horse, which is then just walking around inside your character model, or other things that the stun is not really... The targeter should be a bit optimized. It's really hard to tell if that's a double hit or not. In that case it's not. But that are minor problems, I would say. I couldn't see any targeter issues if it's in the target that was hitting. Highlighting was also correct except for the wall bug. And that's it from my side about the first bug testing look about Hachiman coming in with 4.17 in Smite.